Hey, welcome back everyone. This is the 23rd video of Power Pages 30 Days Learning Challenge. If you are new to this learning series, this is the new initiative I took this new year, where my objective is to cover all the topics related to the Power Pages from basic to advanced. I just wanted to discuss about all the basic or the core stuff about the Power Apps portals, like what is Power Pages, what is the history of it, and what are the life cycle of it, what is the architecture behind it, how the security works. And then we discussed about some of the core components of the Power Pages, like how how the forms look like, how to insert the data in the database, what is entity list, and then what is multi-step form. Some designing stuff we also discussed, like how to manage the content on the portal, how the liquid template code is used to, customize your page and all. And some of the integration topics we also discussed, like how to integrate your Power Pages with the Power Apps, Power Virtual Agents, and the Power BI integrations. We also discuss about that. So couple of topics we have discussed about that, and as you know, like we are moving towards the closer of the Power Pages learning series. So just wanted to give a quick announcement, like I am featuring all the portal heroes of the community, and not only from the community but from the Microsoft as well. So 31st January, as you know, it is the closing day of the Power Pages 30 days learning challenge. And I've also announced this on the social media as well, that we're gonna have all the Power Pages heroes, the Nick Dolman, Dilip, Deepthi. So Nick Dolman is basically the content developer in the Microsoft. So he's writing a lot of interesting stuff related to the Power Pages. So we're gonna hear about the Power Pages from the Nick Dolman as well. Dilip is who is leading the Power Pages team in the Microsoft. Deepthi, who is the well-known face in the Power Pages team, who recently published the white paper of Microsoft Power Pages security. So you can find it in the Designer Studio as well. So we're gonna have some tips about the security probably from the Deepthi, and we have some community heroes who have been working on the Power Pages. The Victor, you already know Victor, Nicholas, and Oliver, Alexander, Francisco, Raz, Cyril, Aldrich, and Raghavan. So these are all the people I'm inviting on the closing day. So you're gonna hear a lot of interesting stuff about the Power Pages from these guys. Okay, so stay tuned for that. Okay, so let's quickly jump into the agenda. So if I talk about a quick recap, what we have done till now. So we have covered a lot of topics, but if I talk about the today topic is basically about the code components in the Power Pages. Okay, so code component is basically known as PCF control. You call it as a PCF control as well. You call it as a some people call it as a custom control as well, right? So code components is basically for the professional developer. That is not something for the low code no code developer. Sometimes if you have to create any component and that you want to use it in the model driven app or in the Canvas app or in the Power Pages, and that component is completely for the data visualization purpose. Okay, that is not something that you have to write the business logic there. That is basically the UI component. So for example, like you are creating a Boolean field and you want to display it like a toggle field. Okay, so for that purpose, you need the code component. So this is a very simple example, but there are a couple of PCF examples are there. So there are a lot of community experts who are working on the code components. So I'm not diving deep into that, like how to create the code components and all. There are a lot of articles you will find it, but I just wanted to discuss about from the Power Pages context, that how the code components can be used on the Power Pages as well. Okay, so the first topic is what is code component. So Power Apps component framework controls or the code components empower professional developers and app makers to create the code components for model driven apps, for Canvas app, that can also be reused on the Power Pages sites as well. Okay. And these code components can provide on an enhanced experience for user working with data on the forms, views, and the dashboard. So since it's a UI control, so that you can place it on the forms, you can apply it on the fields, on the views, and on the dashboard, because these are the three controls that we have in the model driven app, in the Canvas app, or in the Power Pages, that is basically used to view the data. Okay, so code component is basically used for the data visualization, and these are the only component we have in the Dataverse that is basically used to display the data. Okay, so to avoid any confusion, code components, custom control, PCF control, everything is same. Custom control, we call it, we do have some custom controls available in the model driven app. So we call them the custom controls, but the architecture and the framework behind that is also the PCF control only. So all the things are same. Either you can call it code components, you can call it PCF control, or you can call custom controls. Okay, so if I understand the code component with this picture, first of all, if we so since we already have the controls available in the Dataverse, but if you have to create your own custom control, okay, so you get the requirement and you find it that that control has not made by anyone, and you have to create a component from the scratch. Then in that case, first of all, you create the components outside the application, so you don't need to be in the Dynamic 365, Microsoft Dataverse, or in the Power Platform in order to create the components. You can create independently from the CRM application. So you need to have the Visual Studio or the VS Code, or you need to have some of the prerequisites like Power Platform CLI, Node.js, and these kind of stuff you need to have in order to create the custom component. So these are the languages or resources you need to have in order to create the custom component: Microsoft Power Platform CLI, PowerShell, HTML, CSS, TypeScript, Angular, and React. So if you have the good knowledge of that, then you can create your own component, or a plug and play solution kind of thing. And then you can create a package of it, and then you can import it into the Microsoft Dataverse. Okay, so you always create the component outside the application, and then you create a package of it in the form of solution, and then you import it into the Microsoft Dataverse. Okay, so once you import that solution into the Microsoft Dataverse, you can apply that custom control either on the model driven apps, on the Canvas app, or on the Power Pages. And for example, like I have a drop down on my model driven app forms called gender, where the user has to choose between the male, female, and other. So it's just a simple control, like a drop down control. But if I want to apply it, the code components to it, or PCF control to it, I can change it to the in the image format as well. So as you can see in the last picture, the data visualization, I'm doing it in the picture format. So I completely converted that component, the default component, to a different data visualization component. Okay, so this is the one example, but there are different types of PCF controls are there. You can utilize them, or you can change the data visualization as well. Now, if you have to add the components to the Power Pages, there are basically three steps. The first, you have to create your component framework. So as I discussed in my previous slide, so you have to create your component framework. You have to build it, you have to package it, and you have to import it in your Dataverse. Then you have to use those component framework on your model-driven app. Okay. And as you know already, we have been discussing about the forms, multi-step forms, and all. And portal use the model driven app forms to provide the data insertion. So as you know, like model driven app controls are reusable on the portal. So in order to use the custom control or the code components on the Power Pages, first you need to add them onto the model driven app forms. Okay, so once you add them onto the model driven app forms on a particular field or on a subgrid or any of the control, then you can use it on the portal. So from the Power Pages side or from the portal side, you don't need to write any sort of code, or you don't need to do any sort of customization in order to expose this code component to the portal. You only need to do few configuration that we're gonna have a look quickly in the practical example. But there is no sort of writing code like TypeScript or JavaScript. You need to do it on the Power Pages. The same component that you are using on the model driven app, on the Canvas app, you can reuse it on the Power Pages as well. All right. So if you have the question like, do we have any out-of-box code components that I can use it on my Power Pages site? So yes, we have a lot of out-of-box code components are available, and you can reuse it on the Power Pages site as well. So I just grabbed this picture from one of my session I had given a year before, where I demonstrated that how you can use the code components on the Power Pages or the Power Portals. You can see the signature, you can see the the star ratings, the number control, drag and drop controls, multimedia controls, and the option sets, and the the toggles, flip controls. A lot of controls are already there and ready-made available for you. I'm not sure about the star rating right now, because I heard somewhere like a couple of days back that the star rating is going to be the deprecated. So you can get the updated information from the Microsoft release notes that some of the controls have been deprecated. But yes, there are some of the code components are already available that you can apply directly on the Power Pages site. Okay. Now, where can I get the ready-made, code components for my website? So if let's say you need to create a control, and that is already there in your in the Microsoft Dynamics 365, so you can reuse it on the Power Pages as well. But there is a PCF gallery where you can find a lot of ready-made controls available. Some of the controls are free available for you, and some of the controls are you have to pay for it. It's a licensed one. So there are a lot of community folks who are working on the code components. They have created them as a ISB solution. So if you just wanted to take the advantage of it, or you just want to play around with that, you can just have a look the PCF gallery, and there you can find all the code components. Okay. But if you want to create your own code component, if you are not, if the given controls, if the code components which is given in the PCF gallery, or the default components which is already made available in the Dataverse, so if those components are not, fitting in your business need, then anyways you can go and create your own code components as well. Okay. All right, so let's quickly get into the implementation. So if you want to create your own code component, this is the site where you can check it out, like create and build a code component. Okay, so this is the site, like you need to follow all the step-by-step process in order to create the code component. So there are a couple of Power Apps CLI commands you need to perform it in order to create the package, and how you can debug that, how you can package that components, and then how you can import it into the Dataverse, and then how you can reuse it. So you can follow this article if you want to create to the own component from the scratch. All right. All right. So let me head over to the Power Apps Portal Studio first, because I just wanted to demonstrate like how the code components can be reused on the Power Pages site. So you need to come to the maker.powerappsportals.powerapps.com, and the first thing that you have to do it, you have to use those controls or the custom controls on your model driven app first. Okay. So we are not going to create any custom code component here. We're going to use all the default or the out of box code components that is already there with us. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open the Designer Studio here. And if I head over to the data workspace, so I already have the custom table available. So I've already done some groundwork so that we can save the time. So this is my custom table Power Guide event. So if I just head over to the forms and quickly open the insert form. So what I want is, so this is my event form, as you remember, right? So in this publish event form, What I want is like this event description is a multi-line text field. Okay, so it might be possible like if the organizer or the administrator publishing the event, they might need the rich text editor here so that you know they can put the event description and they can highlight some of the characters there, sentences there. They can put the link over here. So event description is a multi-line text field and I want to apply the rich text editor controls on this field. Okay. Event mode is basically it's a choice field or a drop down field, and I just want to apply a custom control or the code component on this field as well to change its data visualization. I have created a custom field called free tickets that actually decide like if you are publishing an event, how many tickets you want to keep it as a free ticket and how much tickets are the chargeable tickets, how many tickets are the chargeable one. So this is basically a number field where I have to input the number. So I can anyways put the number like this, but just to demonstrate how the code components can change the data visualization of this field, I just took this field as a number field. There is a Boolean field. I've also took it here, terms and condition. I am going to convert that checkbox to the toggle one and a signature one. And I want like someone who is the organizer or the administrator who is going to publish this event. They need to, accept the terms and condition and they need to provide the signature as well. All right. So that I want. So in the signature box, I want to have a pan control. So user can use the pan to draw the signature straight away within this form. Okay, so these are all the controls. I just wanted to use it on my form. So we have the different types of controls are available and we can use it on the different data types of the fields. Okay, so if I head over to my data workspace, if I open the form, if you can see here, I've already applied this code components on my model driven app forms. Okay, right now there is nothing to do with the Power Pages. If you have to apply this custom control on the model driven app forms or for your CRM application, you have to follow the same step. Okay, you have to create the field first. So let's say this is the multi-line text field. And in order to apply the custom control to it, you just need to select this field, go to the right panel. If I go down, there is some component option here and just click on the new component. So you will get to see the list of all the controls or the code components that you can apply it on this particular field. Okay, so the controls that is being listed down here, it depends on the type of the field. Okay, so since event description is a multi-line text field, that's why it can have only these kind of controls. Okay, so if it is a text field, then you cannot expect the pan input or the rich text editor. Okay, if it is a Boolean field, then there will be a different code component for it. So let's say if I head over to the, let's say, Boolean field. So this is my Boolean field here. So the code component will be changed here. So if I click on component, I will see only the toggle control here. Okay, so here I've just added a toggle control and free tickets is a number field. So here I've just added a number input. So I have a couple of options like I can either choose the star rating or I can choose the number input. Okay, and this is the drop down choice field. So if I head over to the component, I have the option set type of code component that actually display the option set in the horizontal bar in the tabs format, especially. But as you can see here, I've applied all the controls on my model driven F forms. So these are all the out of box code components. But let's say this is the code components that doesn't fit your requirement. So either you can go with the PCF gallery, or if you don't want to purchase that, or if you don't want to use those, then you can create your own code components as well. And then you can apply it on the form. All right. So I've already saved that and sync it so that it should apply that. So the step one is you have to apply all the code components on the model driven app form first. Now, in order to apply those controls on the portal pages, you have to create the basic form metadata. Okay, so since you can see that on the model driven app form, I can see those controls, but on the same form, if I head over to the portal, I cannot see those control applied here. Okay, so if I have to apply these controls, you have to create the basic form metadata on this particular basic form. So if I head over to the my portal, you know, management tab. So this is the portal management tab I've already opened here. And this properties cannot be controlled from the Power Apps, sorry, Power Pages Designer Studio right now. Probably in the future you will see this option. You can directly create the form metadata from the Designer Studio itself. But right now this option is not there. So you have to, head over to the Portal Management tab and just go to the basic form and find your form called Publish Event Form. So if you have, if you remember, I have already given the session on the basic form metadata, that how you can apply that, or you can change the properties of your metadata of Dataverse. You have to use the basic form metadata. So if you haven't watched that video, I would recommend to watch that video first, because in that video I have discussed about the basic form metadata, from the beginning. So since this is basically the part of metadata only, because I have changed the property of the metadata. It's a field property. I have changed it. I have applied the component on the field. So it's a metadata change. So unless I will apply or create basic form metadata here, these property will not be applicable. Okay, so what I have to do is, for individual controls, I have to create a basic form metadata. So let's say, first of all, I'll apply the basic form metadata for event description. So what I'm gonna do is head over to the basic form metadata, create a new basic form metadata, and I want to choose attribute here, and the attribute name is event description. OK, I want to apply the event description. Now here is the property called control style, and in the control style I have to choose the code component. OK, that's it. I don't need to do any other configuration. I just need to tell my Power Pages that on this particular attribute, apply the code components which is already there available on the model driven app form. And then I will save and close this. And the same step I have to do for other attributes as well. So same like the event description, I have to do it for the free tickets. I have to do it for terms and condition. Then I have to do it for signature as well. So just to save the time, I'm not going to create all this attribute here. So I've already done that. I have just deactivated that for now. So let me go to the inactive view. OK, and just click here and activate those. So if I head over to the active view, I've already created that is, if I go to the signature. So for the signature control, I've already created that, and same for the terms and conditions, same for the free tickets, and same for the event description. So there is no configuration changes in this. Only thing is that I have to, just choose the code components in the drop down. That's it. OK. Now, just additional thing what I've done is, if you can see in the terms and condition here. So if I head over to the terms and condition, so terms and condition is basically a simple label here. What I want to do is, instead of showing the terms and condition, I want to display the terms and condition instructions, right? I want to display the list of all the terms and conditions that I want to show it to the user. OK, but as you can imagine, like I cannot, put the lengthy label in the model driven app forms, because there is a limit on the number of characters here. So if I have to show the terms and condition on this particular field, I just added a additional property on this terms and condition basic form metadata. So this property is basically for the code component. But if I just go down, I just changed the name of this property to event terms and condition. So here in the metadata, the field name is terms and condition, but I want to display it to event terms and condition. So I've just changed the label of it under the label property, and I want to show some instruction in the form of terms and conditions. So I went to this description instruction section, and there is an option called add description. OK, I want to show the description here, and I want to show just below the field that description. So I just choose this option, and I just provided a random some text here just to display purpose. So if I just go down This is a some simple random text I'm just going to display in the terms and condition. So you can simply utilize this feature to show the terms and condition as well. So this is the additional thing I have done for the terms and condition, and the rest of the things will remain same. So let me head over to the portal now, sync the changes. And if I just go to preview, okay, so my form is already open. So if I just hit Control F5, I should expect that all the properties or the code components that I have configured should be applicable on the portal pages as well. Awesome. So now you can see the event description control is loading right now. All right. So now you can see event description is now converted to the rich text editor. If I go down, pre-tickets as now updated with the number input. So I can just simply change in the form of 5 tickets, how many tickets I want to reduce it. So just you can imagine how I change the data visualization of it. Event terms and conditions. So here, it was a Boolean field. So I just change it to the toggle. And this description is basically we have configured in the form metadata. So it's just showing below the field. So it's up to you that where you want to place it, whether you want to show it above the field or below the field. In some cases, you want to show the checkbox in the terms and conditions. So in that case, you don't apply this toggle code components on the model driven F forms. So you can remove it from here. So it will automatically remove from the portal pages as well. And then you have the signature control. So here you can, simple use the pan input to, provide your signature, something like that. You can clear as well. So this is the way how you can, use the signature control as well. And if you have the specific requirement to display the contract to the user and you want that user should sign that contract before publishing that particular event or accept the terms and conditions, so you can utilize these kind of features to it. All right. Just one more thing I want to highlight here is I have not mentioned about the table permission here, but it is very mandatory that before using this custom control, make sure you have the appropriate table permission enabled for this particular table. Okay. If you don't have the table permission, if you don't have rights to perform the operation on the tables, then you probably not be able to access those custom controls on the form. All right. So that's it about the code components. If you have any questions, if you have any specific requirement related to the code component, then please let me know. And thanks for watching this video. If you have any suggestion, if you have any feedback, just post it in the comment. So stay tuned for the next video. Thank you so much. Bye bye.